Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is a follow-up to my first video called No Hardwax Oil for Me. Here I'm applying my three-part finish of oil linseed oil, tung oil varnish, and mineral spirits to a new project that is a walnut dining room table with a small extension. You can see I'm brushing it on very generously. I'll be doing this to the top and bottom, obviously sides and ends. I'm going to let this finish soak in to the top and bottom for at least 5 or 10 minutes, and then wipe it off with a clean shop towel. This will then cure for about 24 hours, and then I will do the same thing for a second and third coat. I want to be clear that I have nothing inherent against the hard wax oils. I just don't like that they're a single coat, and I don't think they fill the pores that well. Now that I've applied a good even coat to the entire top, I'm wiping it down after waiting about 10 or 15 minutes with a shop towel. Most of the first coat will get absorbed into the pores, and that's why I love this finish way more than hard wax oils, which, no matter what they tell you, really just sit on the surface. They get a little bit into the pores, but this finish really soaks in. You'll see that this finish really soaks into the wood pores. And in fact, after the first coat, there's really no sheen to it because all of the finish has gotten into the pores. After it catalyzes for about 24 hours, then I'll apply the second coat. The hard wax oils all pride themselves on being single coat, which in fact means it absolutely cannot get deep into the pores like this finish. It's also pretty foolproof because you wipe it on, let it sit, wipe it off. Dust is really not an issue. I use a maroon cloth often. Now that the first coat of this three-part finish has dried, you'll see that there's absolutely no sheen on the tabletop. The walnut grain has really started to pop, and there's no dust on this because it's a simple finish where you wipe it on and wipe it off. This is the table base, the walnut table base. Also, no sheen, but beautiful grains. And then this is the table top. Apologies, there was a lot of sunlight coming in my shop that day. But again, you'll see that the grain really pops. There's no gloss. Everything has seeped into the pores and it's dried for 24 hours. This is the second coat of finish applied and wiped down on the leaf. You'll see the grain is really starting to come alive. There's a tiny bit of gloss. This will all dry down on the second coat, a little bit of sheen. This is the walnut base. Again, you'll see the grain is really starting to pop. Very few dust problems. Use a maroon cloth at the end. A little bit of gloss here and there. That will dry down. And this is the tabletop. You'll see the grain is really starting to pop here. Tiny bit of gloss, really a very low luster. Mm. And this will dry out again for 24 hours. I'll hit it with a maroon cloth and then go to the third coat. This is the second coat of my three-part oil linseed oil, tung oil varnish, and mineral spirit finish dried out. You'll see the grain is really coming alive. There's no sheen yet, a slight luster. So I'm going to give this a quick hit with a maroon 3M pad. It's a very fine weave. The tiniest bit of dust nibs that are on this will get taken off. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the table legs and the table base, the 3M pad, and then go to the table leaf. Again, you'll see some beautiful grain on the table leaf and give that a quick hit with maroon pad, and then go on to the third coat on all the surfaces. Now we're on to the third coat of finish, which has been applied to the table. Again, this is the boiling soil, tung oil varnish, and mineral spirits. One thing to make sure that you understand is each coat takes no more than about 10 minutes, including applying it, letting it sit for 5 minutes, and then wiping it off. So this is an extremely fast finish. There's no worries about dust in the air. Obviously, you don't want to have had sanded in the shop recently. I do turn on my top air filter for about 10 minutes before I start applying this, but it's a super easy finish. And again, with this third coat of finish, it's pretty much guaranteed that I'm filling all the wood pores. You see all the grain is really, really popping. And now on this third coat, the gloss will start to appear. Again, it's a very soft sheen. You're going to still see wood grain, but you've got a very good coat of protection here. Now the third coat of my three-part finish has dried. It's about the next morning after I finished it in the previous afternoon. You'll see there's a very light luster. I'm going to hit this with a 3M pad on the sides and the ends. I may hit it with 320 or 400. So now I'm going to apply two coats of just tung oil varnish. I happen to love Old Masters. It's what I use in the three-part finish. So I'm going to apply this now. Again, flood it with a light coat and then let it sit and then wipe it off with clean shop towels. And this will start to give it a bit more protection and a bit more gloss. Again, this is a super easy, pretty much foolproof finish, the second part of it. Now I've put two coats, drying 24 hours in between, of the Old Masters tung oil varnish. It's a fairly thin varnish, so it's very easy to apply. Each coat is flooded onto the tabletop and the leaf and the legs. Let dry 5 or 10 minutes and then wipe it off. Again, this doesn't get gummy or thick like some other varnishes. And then once it dries, you see now that there's a very nice soft sheen. With two coats, you get a very good amount of protection. Any kind of normal spills, this will repel it. I will again, after this is cured for 24 hours after the second coat, I will give it a coat, and this is the leaf. You'll see the sheen here is a little more apparent, just the lighting in my shop. Once this is cured for about 24 hours, I will then give it two coats of the Old Masters paste wax, which is a mixture of carnauba and beeswax, buffed in between, only about 10 minutes to dry, and this will give it an extra layer of protection, a bit more sheen to it, and just a beautiful grain structure that you can see with wood pores filled. Now we see the leaf of the walnut tabletop. This has a coat of the Old Masters paste wax, which is a mixture of carnauba and beeswax. Again, you see a bit more of a sheen. This is the tabletop. Um, Beautiful grain, very simple finish, and easy to apply. And this finish has a good amount of durability, but again, nothing except for a poly is going to take all the scratches that you could apply to it. So please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching the video.